Alright guys, it is Monday, April 3rd, and here comes the actual work, the actual stuff, the shit, so to say, working on making the engine profile. Basically what you wanna start off with when making any type of mod is get as much real life information, if not a real life car, preferably if possible. Pictures, videos, data, specifications, anything that you can collect on that car is useful in further mod creation. What do we got right now? We're trying to go with 1967 Chevy Camaro, basic, not even SS, not Z28, just a baseline Camaro with the 283. The 283 was available only for 1 year in 1967 in this base Camaro. Came with that 2-speed automatic tranny and a 4-speed manual, but that's for later. Basically what we got as information right now, we have this torque curve from online website, which is calculated, I'm sure, by some kind of software, and the accuracy of this curve is, beyond doubt, I'd say. Anyway, what you want to start off with, we got our basic torque curve and the points that I talked about from the previous video, but let's just start inputting the data that we're gonna need for the future. For now, we have power statements of 285 foot-pounds of torque at 2400 RPM and a statement of 195 horsepower at 4800 RPM. I don't know if you could see that well or not, but it is right here, and you could also link the numbers on the graph. As far as cylinder dimensions and engine dimensions go, we got cylinder displacement is 283, our stroke is 3 inches, which will translate to 0.5 feet, because we're gonna need our stroke in feet. So we got our stroke. Then we could calculate our bore and our cylinder radius. From there we could calculate our piston area. Let me use an online calculator for that. Find out cylinder bore. That is what I'm going to do here. Little website. 8 cylinders, 3-inch stroke, a 283 cubic inches displacement. It gives us a bore of 3875. Our bore is 3.875. Make sure that's correct. Our radius is half of that. I already have it calculated, and that comes up to 19375. That's in inches. Bore and radius. Radius is half the bore. Now we input this radius number into area of a circle, pretty much your piston area. Paste that, and we got an area of 1179. Area, let me call it piston area, 1179. That's inches square. I'm just gonna call it like that. What else? I believe this is it. Our formula for brake horsepower is going to look like BMEP times stroke in feet, which is 0.25, times piston area of 1179 times half the RPM at what we're making the power. At this time, let's say 2400, half of that will equal 1200 RPM. 1200 RPM times the number of cylinders, 8. All that gets divided by 33,000, and that equals our brake horsepower at a given RPM for this engine. Let me go in red. The formula goes like this: Planck divided by 33,000, where P is the pressure value, L is length of stroke in feet, A right here is a piston area, N would equal, N is 1/2 the RPM that you are making. So if you want to calculate it at 24, you divide that by half, that's 1200. If you want to see how much brake horsepower you're making at 4800 RPM, you divide that by 2, and that ends up being as 2400. That's N, and K is the number of cylinders, so we did not include that. K equals the number of cylinders, that's 8 cylinders. So this is pretty much all the basic information to start our calculations on our engine. From the previous profile, we know that the numbers that we came up with on the BMEPs, let me open the new file, it was, I believe, 58 psi with RPM 1. It was 151 psi at 2400 RPM at our max torque, and it was about 112, or actually 113 psi at 4800 RPM. So these were our values for our profile. I showed you a little demonstration where the engine, let's say if this is our RPM range, where our engine would easily rev up, and it would rev past 8,000, past 9,000, it will rev all the way up to like 20,000 RPM and blow up due to, you know, these numbers running in it. Here comes short break, and after this break we're gonna be back looking into engine profile, and we're gonna start working in-game editing the values. But before you go, take a look at these numbers, and this is pretty much all the necessary info that you need to gather before you start doing your own calculations with your engines, regardless of what kind of project it is.